Hey y'all, welcome back to A Dash of Gratitude. My name is Beth and today we're talking homeschool, specifically 7th grade. A little bit of history about our homeschool journey in our family. We are just going into our 12th year as a homeschool family. We graduated our oldest already. Her name is Olivia. She's currently 19. She's almost 20. We homeschooled Olivia from the beginning of 3rd grade all the way through graduation. So we have experience already through middle school and all the way through high school. We have tons of books and resources that we've collected along the way. And we are really looking forward to this 7th grade year with our daughter, Serena. We also have a rising 1st grader. His name is Robbie. I also have a homeschool playlist that I would love for you to check out as well. We live in South Carolina. Every single year before I even start planning the next year of homeschool, I always refer back to our state laws to make sure that we're covering everything and we're not leaving anything undone. The subjects that are required to be covered in South Carolina for a 7th grade student are math, science, social studies, composition, and literature. So we have to cover those subjects, but what we teach and how we teach is completely up to us. With that said, let me show you what we've got planned for this year. Also, we have a little dog and he's having a treat and I hope you can't hear him. And if you can, I hope it's not too bothersome. Before we dive into anything here, I just want to tell you that I will be linking as much as possible down below in the description box. If you have more questions that I haven't answered in the video or in the description box, feel free to drop a comment down below and I'll get back to you that way. The very first thing I want to share with you today is from the Thinking Tree Company. This is a fun schooling journal. It's called Homeschooling with Horses, Fun Schooling Journal. Now, we love using these journals. We've used several in the past and they come in different themes. Serena's really into horses, so she chose this one for herself this year. The way that we use this journal is mainly for creativity and then also a place to kind of keep a lot of her work organized right within this book. This book has prompts every day to complete certain work and subjects. And it's in my opinion, it's very light. The instructions on how to use this book is to think about 8 things that you want to learn about, and then go to the library or a bookstore, bring home your books of interest that have to do with what you want to learn about, and then use those books to fill in this journal. And so, like I said, this one is horse themed, so there's a lot of horse things in here. For example, let me find the start of a day. This is just a random page, but here you will circle today's date. This page over here has a space where you can write about your feelings, plans, and thoughts. A little bit of drawing and listing. Okay, so that kind of gets you in the mood to get started on schoolwork. This one prompts creativity by making a comic slide. And then practice using your pen with different patterns and shading. This one's a picture study, so you look at this side and then you draw in the missing spot. And then after that, it prompts you to go into reading time. It says to set a timer for 1 hour and choose 4 books, read from each book for 15 minutes, and copy important words and pictures from your book. So for this page, we probably wouldn't use it like that. I would probably just have her set her timer and read whatever her current literature book is. This one is spelling time. The directions say to find 20 words with 7 letters each. Look in your book for words and write the words here. The end of this day's assignment in this book are to watch a movie, documentary, educational program, or a tutorial, and then she'll just write about it. It asks her to write about the movie and rate it accordingly. So like I said, and that's just an example of one day at random. Each day is a little bit different. I'll talk about world news, like prompting you to look up world events and geography points, things like that. And so like I said, we've used these before. We have one for Robbie this year that's Minecraft themed, and the kids just really enjoy using these. I always ask them every year, do you want to order another fun school journal? And they always say yes. So we're excited to dive into this one. Now let's get to the subjects. We're going to start with math. In our homeschool, we use Life of Fred. And so these are the books that Serena will be working through this year and maybe into next year, depending on how she does with them. I always let the kids work at their own pace. And and we'll stop and spend lots of time on something if we need to, or if she gets it, we'll just fly through it and move on to the next thing. But we'll start with fractions, we'll move on to decimals and percents, and then we'll get into pre-algebra 0 and pre-algebra 1. We use this set with Olivia as well, and we never write in the books. That way we can reuse them, and then maybe one day I will be able to sell them. So that'll be really nice. But we really enjoy Fred and his stories and the way that math is taught in these books. To supplement Life of Fred, we have this real world math. So a little bit from the inside of this book. Sometimes it is a challenge for students to understand how to apply abstract or theoretical math concepts to everyday life. Real world math hopes to bridge this gap by getting students to think and apply what they have learned about various math concepts to the real world. Students will be asked to solve different types of math problems and be given real life conditions and situations. So that's just a little bit, I'm not going to read anymore, but you get the gist of what this is. This is really great, and Olivia enjoyed working through this as well. Another book that we love for math, and Serena hasn't worked through this one at all, it's called The Math Book, and this was one of Olivia's favorite books from school. She will tell you herself. So here's just a little bit from the inside cover. When did humans tie their first knots? Why was the first woman mathematician murdered? Is it possible to turn a sphere inside out? These are just a few of the thought-provoking questions answered in this beautifully illustrated book. Author Clifford Pickover reveals the magic and mystery behind some of the most significant milestones, as well as the oddest objects and ideas that humanity has ever contemplated, beginning in 150 million BC and ending with the latest cutting-edge breakthroughs. So that's just a little bit from the inside cover. I'm telling you, this book is awesome. It's just nice. Like I said, it's beautifully illustrated. It talks about all kind of things. And the reason we have this book is we used the curriculum Build Your Library for a few years, and we accumulated tons of books while we were doing that. We held on to a lot of them because, we're not done homeschooling the kids. So this is why we have this math book. And it's really, really great. It's a fantastic resource to have on your homeschool bookshelf. Next, let's talk about science. I asked Serena what she mainly wanted to focus on in science this year, and she told me human anatomy. So we are going to start this year's science with Cycle Savvy, the Smart Teen's Guide to the Mysteries of Her Body. It's very appropriate for middle school age girls. This book is fantastic. The author is Toni Weschler, a national best-selling women's health author. And I have to say, this book is geared towards teenagers. She also has one geared towards women. It is full of so many things that I had no idea about when I read it myself as a grown woman. Fantastic resource. So just the general idea of how this book is written out, it covers everything about your cycle and your changing body, hormones and all of that. You read through the chapter. This has fantastic illustrations, really great vocabulary and definitions, and then it also, at the end of each chapter, it has like a little quiz area with questions that you can answer, and every chapter is like that. It's just really great. I can't recommend this author enough. When we finish Cycle Savvy, we're going to dive right into human biology. Our main spine for that this year is going to be this Science Encyclopedia. This is also another book that I have from when we used Build Your Library. It's a great resource, and it's got a lot of information about the human body. So we're going to read through that. And to supplement the information in this encyclopedia, I have this workbook. I ordered this off Amazon. It's for grades 5 through 8, and it's all about the human body. Let me show you an example of what's inside. This is just a random page, but the eye-brain connection and eye protection. And I will let her write in this workbook, and if we want to order one for Robbie later on down the road, we can do that then. As another supplemental book, I have this Illustrated Dictionary of Science. It's full of all kind of things as well. So like I said, we have tons of books to go along with, and that's going to cover a lot of what we do for science this year. Okay, let's jump into composition and literature. So this is the first year that I've ordered this type of workbook, but it's a Spectrum Language Arts Workbook, Grade 7. This focuses on grammar and usage, parts of speech and sentence types, vocabulary acquisition and usage, writer's guide, and it also has an answer key in the back. Now let me tell you, for the very first time ever, last year we ordered the spelling book for 6th graders last year for Serena. It was so much fun and she really actually enjoyed working through it. And we would do typical like a worksheet every day, and then on Fridays we would do the spelling test, and she did really well. So when I asked her if she would like to order the language arts for this year, she said yes. As far as literature goes, the way that I like to cover literature in our homeschool is I generally will do a quick search on the internet for 7th grade reading list or something like that. And I look at the list, and usually we'll have some of those on our shelf. So I will pull off some of those books, and then maybe we'll go out to the used bookstore and pick up a few. And I also like to let her choose, because I always want the kids to be interested in the things that they're learning. We're much more likely to have a good homeschool experience if they are a part of the planning and if they're interested in what we're doing. Let me show you some of the books that I pulled for this year. And some are light and some are a little more heavy. We got Where the Red Fern Grows, A Child Called It, Cheaper by the Dozen, The Giver. We've got Holes and The Constitution of the United States of America. We've also got Out of Hiding. And then her current read right now is Wonder. She's reading through this summer. So that's just a few of our books. There are a few more on my list that I would like to get for next year, but that's gonna get us started. Next, let's talk about social studies. So I will put on the screen here a picture of a book that I have yet to order off of Amazon. We're going to dive into South Carolina history this year, and I'm really excited about it. There's so much history here in our beautiful state, and there are so many places to visit and go see and learn hands-on real world experiences, which is my favorite way to teach in the world. So I'm going to be ordering that book, and along with that I want to plan field trips to go visit a lot of those places, and I want to take the kids camping. I want to camp all around the state, and I'm really excited about that. So we're looking forward to that. Along with that, and I've talked about these books before on my channel, but we'll also be revisiting the Tuttle Twins. We have this series of books by the Tuttle Twins. I'm not going to talk too much about them because it's a bunch of books to talk about, but my husband Brandon and I consider these books to be evergreen content that we can go back and revisit, and the kids can just pull and learn something different every time we read through one of these books. So the way that we use these in our homeschool is Brandon will read about one of these every month with the kids. They sit down together, both Robbie and Serena. He reads them, and then they have a discussion afterwards. And in the back of every book, there are vocabulary words and then ideas to discuss or questions to talk about. For example, let's talk about this book. It's called The Tuttle Twins and the Search for Atlas. Okay, so here's the back cover. It says, "What happens when hardworking people quit? In a world filled with consumers, what happens if the producers give up and leave? And how can people better practice personal responsibility and not have a sense of entitlement about the things they think they deserve?" Ethan and Emily Tuttle tackle these questions in their latest adventure, this time as clowns in the visiting circus, incorporating ideas from Ayn Rand's hit novel, Atlas Shrugged. This book shows how things begin falling apart when socialism creeps in. Join the clown twins as they try to figure out where Atlas went, and more importantly, why he left. Here's a picture of the back cover. And then let's see what's in the back here. So it talks a little bit about the author of this book, talks a little bit about Ayn Rand and Atlas Shrugged, and the glossary of terms. So the vocabulary words from this book are consume, demand, incentive, personal responsibility, produce, socialism, supply, victim, and work ethic. And the discussion questions are, was Atlas selfish? Is anyone else entitled to the product of your labor? What incentives exist that encourage you to work hard? What do you produce? Could the circus have survived without Atlas? Why or why not? And why did the clowns act like victims? Also, to go along with these, there is an activity workbook that you can print off online, and we do have it, and the kids like to work through that as well. So I just really, we have been impressed with this whole series. And I also have a question for you, especially if you have read through the Tuttle Twins, and if you know about the Tuttle Twins, I just wonder, they have another book called American History, and I wonder if you have an opinion about it, because I'm thinking about ordering it, but I'm just not sure. And to go along with history, this is unique to our homeschool, and I consider this to be a treasure, and I'm so excited about it, and I'm sharing it with you, not because you can get one of these, because you can't, but in case you have something like this in your family that maybe you could pull from or look into, maybe you will. I think this is a great idea. So I have this book. It's called A Time to Harvest. And this is a collection of writings from my aunt, who's passed away now. But it's all kind of things about her childhood growing up on a farm in Missouri, and what her parents did, how they lived, the way that they worked, and the things that they produced on their farm. And it's just a beautiful collection of her childhood and all the way up through her children and grandchildren. And there are several copies of this, but they're just for the family. My plan for this book is to read it in the morning, like while the kids have breakfast and I'm drinking coffee and we're having kind of our morning time. We like to start with a reading of some sort, and I want it to be this because it's just really special. This is something that I'm truly excited about getting into this year, because there's a lot in here that I don't know, and I haven't read it myself. I started reading a little bit, and it's just so good. So I can't wait to read this with my kids. Next up is Perfectly Logical. All right, this is for ages 8 to 12. Challenging, fun, brain teasers, and logic puzzles for smart kids. All right, I ordered this off Amazon. I've never ordered this book before, but I was looking specifically for logic and reasoning things. I found one for my first grader for next year, so I definitely wanted one for Serena as well. And let me just read. This is a little bit from the back cover, all right? Perfectly Logical helps curious kids age 8 to 12 develop logical reasoning and critical thinking skills while having a blast. That's the most important part. With puzzles that progressively increase in difficulty, this book engages and challenges kids for hours on end. So, I'm excited about that. This last year, I started teaching the kids music theory and then how to play piano. We have a piano in our home. I have very basic piano and music skills. So we worked through their first year of theory workbooks. So I went ahead and ordered Serena this one. It's Music Theory Book 1. And the first one that I ordered for her, let me show you. I have it over here, actually. This was Music Theory Made Easy for Kids. This was really, really good, and it breaks down theory in such an easy way to teach and to digest. But it's geared towards little children. So look at, like, let me find here we go. It's geared towards little children, fun illustrations. So she worked through this, she did really well, and Robbie did too, when he was in kindergarten last year. They both did great in that, but I wanted her to have one a little bit more grown up, and so I went ahead and ordered this one for her. And it is that, just more grown up theory. I also ordered this one off of Amazon. I want to talk about art as well, and I'm not an art teacher or anything like that. I like to keep art alive in our homeschool. And so I have these books. This one is called, I have several of these books, but here are two of them. This one is called 13 Women Artists That Children Should Know. My cousin, who is an art teacher up in Maryland, she suggested this years ago. And so per her suggestion, I ordered this for our school, and it is really great. And so the way that we use books like this is we will do an art study. This is mainly just to touch on history and culture and to learn how to look at art. So this book has a nice timeline across the top, a little information about the artist, and then some information about the art. Here's just an example of one page. Here's another picture. And let's find it one more. Oh, Georgia O'Keeffe, The Artist in the Desert. So we've got that one, and then here's another one. It's the Usborne Book of Famous Artists. And we'll use this in the same way, just to learn about art, artists, again, about the culture and history, and then also to learn how to look at art. And you know, this is a very basic, things like this would take maybe 10 or 15 minutes to cover the basic lesson. And then if you wanted to dive deeper, of course, we always can. So that's a little bit of what we'll do for art study this year. Something else that's kind of funny, every year I like to stock up on sketchbooks because my kids really love to draw and sketch and just doodle around a little bit. And Amazon had this great deal on a set of 3. I don't remember how much I paid for these, but it was really affordable. However, I didn't really read the description or the measurement because these are really small. So I'll definitely be picking up some larger size sketchbooks as well. Usually I can just pick them up from Walmart. You know, they don't have to be like really fancy or anything, but I thought that was funny when it came in. I was like, what is this? One more book I want to talk about, and it's just kind of like a bonus science book for our year, is this DK, the Horse Encyclopedia. This book is so beautiful. Serena is currently really into horses. She takes riding lessons and she just loves everything about horses. And so I found this on Amazon as well. I ordered it and we've already read through the whole thing. Well, we've flipped through the whole thing. We haven't read a lot, but the pictures are great. And the information is just really well done. And I mean, so many different types of horses. So anyway, we've got this and she's really excited to be able to flip through and read even more about these beautiful animals. Something else I want to talk about that actually this year we will probably kick off the year with is, did you know it's an election year here in America? I'm sure you do know that. How can you not? There's so much going on about politics these days. But speaking of, when I mentioned Build Your Library earlier, she has some really great unit studies. One of her unit studies is called an election unit study, and I will try to link that down below as well. And I don't have the cover page for it, so I don't know where that went, but I printed it off. When I purchased it, I printed it off and I just put holes in the papers and put it in this 3-ring binder. But it's got a list of books that are required and then writing ideas and assignments to go along with, all to learn about the election process here in America. So here are some of the books that I have to go along with that. And this is geared more towards like elementary age. I think it's actually geared for kids ages 8 to 10. So she's a little older and Robbie's a little younger, but I think they can both learn something here. So here are some of the books I have. See How They Run, Madam President, When You Grow Up to Vote by Eleanor Roosevelt, Usborne Politics for Beginners. So we'll be reading through those as well. And like I said, we'll probably kick off our year with that. And as a part of that, we'll start like collecting any political ads that come in the mail and compare them all and look at them and, you know, just talk about it. I mean, it is a part of what we live with. And, you know, I think it's important to discuss on their level, of course. It's important to discuss politics in an appropriate way that they can understand, because I just think it's important. So that covers all the books and all the subjects we're going to be doing with books in the home or, you know, around town, wherever we happen to be. I also wanted to mention some of the things like the other activities and supplemental educational things we're going to be doing this year as well. So we haven't done this for the past couple of years, but we want to bring back poetry tea time this year. And I'm hoping to gather maybe a small group of friends so we can do it together. I like to keep my tea time really basic and fun. We like to just everyone pick a couple of poems to take turns reading around the table, or if we're sitting outside on a picnic blanket or something, and just read poetry together, look at the pictures, talk about the words, and then we'll have a snack all together. So I want to restart that this year. We also have a small group of friends that we've recently connected with, all homeschoolers, and what is great about this group for our personal family, the ages of the kids involved are perfect for our family. There's some a little bit younger than Robbie, and then the oldest, there are a few, all Serena's age, and then a few in between, the boys and girls, and we all get along. Even the moms get along. And I mean, it's a beautiful thing. So we're enjoying the group. And so I think we're going to do like a small co-op, maybe once a week, maybe once every other week. I'm not sure with that group. We're already talking about doing a study on Vikings. We also are a part of a nature club. It's a local hiking group that is for homeschoolers, and it's once every other week, only during the school year. It's usually just a short hike, and then you can bring a picnic or a snack if you like. Serena also is going to be taking Social 1, which is local here to our area over in Augusta, Georgia. It is like a dance class where they learn ballroom dancing and manners and all of that. They dress really nice. It's a traditional thing here in Augusta, and she's starting with Social 1 this year. Last year she took Perfectly Social, which you don't have to take. It's not a prerequisite for Social 1, but it is strictly a manners class. The class was 5 weeks long. She went 1 day a week, and at the last class was like a formal dinner with all the silverware and the glass of water and where the dessert is, all that. So she learned all that last year, and she's a little nervous about Social 1 because she has to have a partner, which she knows her partner personally. They're friends, they're on the same swim team. But it's something different and new and exciting, so she'll be learning over there a lot of things. She also is active in cheerleading. She'll be cheering in the fall. We have a play group that we go to. We try to go once a week. And she's contemplating doing a little bit of year-round swim. Our local year-round swim league has a 6-week commitment option that we're thinking about trying in the very first, after Christmas time. So we'll see. The way that we generally run our homeschool on the day-to-day basis, every single day we do math, and every single day we do reading, and then everything else we fill in between as we have time. If the kids are particularly interested in a certain subject, we'll dive a little deeper. And if they're not, we just touch a little bit every day or as we go, every other day, wherever it fits. Sometimes we go out of the house for the whole day and we'll bring our math and reading along with us in the car, and we'll go do something different. We like to do a lot of field trips and get out and experience the world. And that is one of my favorite things about homeschooling, is being able to learn with my kids right alongside them and experience things out in the real world. I think that's the best way to learn. We definitely cover the bases here with the books, but the real learning happens outside of these walls, and that's something that I just love about homeschool. I hope this video was helpful for you and encouraging that you don't necessarily have to have a big box full of a set up curriculum. You can curate your own to style it along with the interests of your kids or things that you think that they need to learn about, or the things that they just really love and want to learn about. We do have a lot of resources here at the house. We've been homeschooling for a long time, and because of that, I've been able to just kind of pull from what we already have. But it doesn't have to be expensive to homeschool. You can check out books from your library or go to the used bookstore. You can borrow books from friends. We've done that too. Reach out to other people in your homeschool community for resources that maybe you could share or go in together. Anyway, it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can keep it easy peasy and just enjoy the journey. The time goes so fast. I was thinking about it that when we first started homeschool, Serena was a brand new baby. I started homeschooling Olivia when she was in 3rd grade with a brand new baby sister. She was born that summer and we started in the fall. And now Serena is about to turn 12 and I just can't believe it. Time goes so fast. So I hope you're able to enjoy your homeschool journey. Like I said, if you have questions, leave them down below. I would love it if you would give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for adding a dash of gratitude to your day, and I'll see you on the next video.
Say bye.
Bye-bye.